Hey there, good to see you. I am working on some parkour stuff. So figured this would be a good opportunity to show how I might create a new animation. I have some stubbed in animation for this. So basically I'm creating a moment where we jump up, banging and ponging back and forth. Okay, we're at the top and we're on the ledge. And we want to say, I want to jump. Where am I? I want to jump backwards. So we know which direction we'll be going. So I want to jump that way. So I've got an animation already set up to get us from here to here. Actually, with the way it works, it probably lands you there. So it's more like this. And that's great. So let's do that. And everything's not perfect. As game dev goes, you've got to test your stuff. Um, but I just got it in, and I know that I wanted to try out a different animation. So right now my feet are on a wall. We jump there. So it looks like we've got some rotational issues going on, and that is not what we're going to fix right now in this video because I have no idea what's going on and I want to investigate that. So anyway, I'm just happy that we are jumping to the other wall, sort of. Backwards. So we made it. All right. And that one's a little lower, so we're going to jump on top. Yes. So I'm not usually getting tracers or anything here. I am just like literally saying jump off this section of the wall. So it's exactly how my wall jumping works. So basically I just have a montage animation with some root motion that plays the way I want it to play. So nothing fancy, just controlling the capsule stuff with root motion stuff. So I want to do an animation that is working from where the feet aren't on a wall, like that. So I'm using the same animation, and you can see, especially if we slow this down, whoa, camera stuff, like on 0.25, and we jump. You see how the feet try to plant on an invisible object. And that's fine here because there's an object there, but that's not fine here. So what I want to do is create a new animation to replace that. I've got everything set up. So I've got my brace hangs here, I've got my jump, and I have my root motion animation. And that should show root motion translating. I don't know why it doesn't. So it plays like that. Huh. It should show it translating, but it's not. Anyway, there's the root motion animation, and then I duplicated everything for a free hang over here. So I've got this montage that's being pointed to, and root motion is going, and all we need to do is get an animation working for my legs not being propped up against the wall. So let's get that going. So we're going to open up our animation map. Whoa. Let's hide some stuff. Rebel, hide, uppers, hide the couple characters. And then I think I've already set up my sequencer file somewhere, Parkour. So I'm going to edit the sequencer file. So it's just an empty sequencer file. I'm going to drag in my character here. I'm going to hide this other character there. There we are. I'm showing bones. So if you come up to this icon here, I never remember what it is, but I know there's an option. So there's bones there. So I'm going to move this character to 0. Alrighty, and then I'm going to show my bones again. And the reason why I want to show bones is because I have root motion in this animation. I want to make sure that I can track the root motion properly. So I'm going to delete this stuff. Oh, I guess that was a transform. So let's move this back. So let's get him out of there. Out of there. Set that to 0. Then let's drag it in. This. And I wanted to use this new animation mixer. So just gonna hit that there. We want 2 animations. I want this free hang grab, so I want that one. So we're gonna bring that in, animation. And then I want, so let's save this real quick. I want this animation here. So let's go back to our traversal map. And let's play. And let's move over here. Okay, so I've got an animation that is just the idle animation for when we're hanging. And then, let's make this a little bigger. Then I have an animation for when we climb up. And that's the animation I want to use, that climb up animation. So I climb back down. The reason why I want to use that is because there's this motion here where we, let's see, what do? We kind of swing backwards this way, and then we swing forward this way. This is the foot that's kind of dragging in each location. And then when we start to move this way again, we'll have those feet dragging, and then we'll start to turn our character and jump off. Our feet are maybe like up here, like that. I know, it's perfect drawing. Okay, so let's just make this a little smaller. There we are. Okay, so let's go back to our other map, animation map, and hide everything again. I want our O3 here. Let's go ahead and call this HG Parkour. And we'll open up our Parkour sequencer. Okay, now we have that animation there ready to go. Now we need our other animation, so we're going to bring in another one. This one I believe is called Free Hang Idle Climb. Oh, just climb up. There we are. So we're going to mute this one here. So we just have our climb up animation. And we can see there's no root motion until we start moving up, like that. So what I want to do is take basically this part here where we start swinging, we swing backwards, and that's going to be kind of like our push off moment. So I'm going to set a key here so I can mark that. I'm going to set a key there. And I'm just going to push this there like that. So here we probably don't want to be in this animation anymore. So that key there, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to completely, so there's this weight value here. And this 1 is like 100%, we can see it. And a 0 would be like 0%, we can't see it anymore. So there we are. So it looks like we still have root motion there, which is interesting. Let me see here. I haven't used this yet. So let's say override asset. Let's just see what it gives us. Because that's 0. Now we want this one on. So it looks like this other root motion stomps on the other one. So we're swinging, then we push off. So this one's 100%. I want that 0% here. Go 0. I want that swing there. And let's say we're about 100% right here. So this first animation, where we're jumping backwards with all the root motion, is completely taken over. Then, let's say we're maybe at 25% here. Then we'll push off. Maybe that 25% is there. So let's play. That's a little better. So now what we'll do, we get a lot of root motion there. I think one of the things that we'll do is, let's see if we can clean up some of this root motion. Let's go to our curves. And we have our, not this one, this one. We have our root motion here. Zoom out. And let's place it, whoops, let's place this over 0. We're kind of lining those up a little bit better. What's this, -95? Let's see if there's any big offset in that animation. We can climb up. Let's look at this animation and see where the root is anyway. Root. Yeah. We want to negate this. So that's at 97. So we'll want to be at a negative version of that value right there. So that should put us right back over the origin. So 0, 0, 0. That's much better. Let's look at this other animation too. Free hang, free jump. Open a new window. So what are we looking at here for root motion? So this one's off too. Root. Change that to world. Oh, that is 0, 0, 0. And then we move it negative 3, 11, 312. Okay. So we can just safely, hopefully safely put this one at 0, 0, 0. There'll probably be errors with this root motion. We'll see what we can do. Okay. Where are we on height? We want to come back here and we want to move it down by this amount. So we're going to come to our Z and say negative that amount that we copied. So now we're at 0, 0, 0. And now we have our root motion kind of working the way we want. I think that's a good start. Get us a long way. Okay, I'm just trying to see if I want to pump this up just a little bit, maybe 0.33. Maybe a little sooner. That's feeling better, I think. Okay, let's work with that. So now what we're going to do, now that we have our animation working as a good start, we want to test it. Let's save that in this. We're going to let's grab pump start, and actually we're going to duplicate this and call it test. We'll copy that name, bring this into our montage here, use that. There we are. Then we're going to come back to our sequencer and bake that animation sequence out. Anims, parkour, freehand jump. Here we are. And overwrite that. Then what I want to do is add some cubes here. I think. Shapes, cube. Maybe some of this will work. Whoops. Scaled it down to 0, so 0.25. Here we are. Let's see. 2. Let's move it up a bit. Let's see, let's move it up 4 meters. And then let's do this. Move it up, move it over. Let's copy this and then paste it here. There we are. Now they're right on top of each other. If you don't know that, you can shift right click, that copies, and then shift left click, pastes. If I grab this one, shift and paste, see, cool. Undo that. Let's move these a little further apart. And now let's play. And maybe I can't play from this map. Maybe it's not set up to do anything. I thought I could play from this map. Maybe the player starts in a bad spot. This down. Here we are. Oop. Yeah, these are going to need to come over here. And let's move them over here. Okay, there they are. See if we can reach these. Seem a little high. So 400 too high. Let's try a 350. There we are. Okay, so let's jump this way. Hey, cool. Nice. Now we've got a very quick new animation. All we gotta do is clean it up. All right, let's get started on cleaning that up. Go. Okay, so first things first, we're going to bake to our control rig. And we're gonna trash this stuff. I don't need that anymore. At least I don't think so. We have our bones. There we are. Let's bring over an object here. And this one. So move this one into position to try to line our hands up to that. Where's my mouse? Somewhere. Bring it over, bring it down, and just place our hands right there. So we want to make sure that the hands stay in place. So I'm not sure if this will be completely accurate, but at the very least it'll be animated accurately. Okay, I think what I want to try doing is creating a layer. And then we're going to make some modifications. I think I duplicated the sequencer from other things, so we'll delete these first. Delete layer and delete layer. Then we'll create a new layer. I'm not going to be super great with the naming. Adjustment layer. So just want to eyeball the hands into the right position here. So on this one, no, let's not mess with the root motion. Let's bring that one back down. And then here we'll set a passive key. There we are. So we can catch back up. We probably want to catch back up here a little sooner. Okay, now we're going to export this and see how it does when I make sure this hand looks like it's where it needs to be. Just a little cleaner, just a tiny, tiny bit cleaner. So this guy is down here. Okay, cool. All right, let's export that again. Let's get the animation name. Make Anims. Parkour. Jump. Export. Export. We're gonna save that and save this. And we'll play again. Come over here. Jump to this side. Cool. So it looks like we are getting some amount of hand offset there. This is what I was thinking might happen. Because I think this, it's been a while since I've looked at this parkour stuff on my own project, but I think there might be some sort of offset there. Yes, there most definitely is. So I might need to bring that back up. The root might need to be brought back up. I wonder. I'm gonna grab these, add a new layer. We go back to our animation here. We want coupon. We want to again see what that root is doing. We're at 61, so I want to move that back up. See if that affects anything here. We're gonna set a key, grab these two, go to our curves. We want just paste that in there like that. I just want to see if that is going to adjust things or not. But the height thing is not really what I want to be working on for this video. That will probably tag into other systems that I just haven't looked at in a while. Okay, so let's export this. Anims, Parkour. Free hangs, loco. Nope, jump. Export that. Let's save that. I do things on layers just so I can test them quickly, turn things on and off. Okay. That did help. Nope, did not help. That's okay. Looks like it might just have to cheat the mesh a little higher without cheating the root higher. So let's do that one more test there. We'll set a key, say, here when we're fully in the air. And we'll select the root here, remove, and then we'll set a passive key here to line it up. So we'll set a key here, and actually what I can do is just move this key over, delete this one, move this over, then I'll set a key back here. So we'll see what happens there. Looks pretty ugly. Let's move that here. Definitely losing a lot of our feel of like popping up there. Yeah, we're putting the character pretty far away from the root too. So just want to make this test, see what that does. For all intents and purposes, we're done. We've accomplished our goal. So that's very cool. Let's bake this one more time. And now we'll play. From here, jump up. So we're a little far away, but we were getting there. I think that might be the approach I take, but I am very satisfied with the results. How quickly that went to get a new animation in there as a really great start. So cool. Thanks for sticking with me, and good luck to you out there. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about Sequencer and putting some animations together, and baking that down to control rig. All right, happy animating out there.